Hi guys, this is Wednesday's writing lesson. And today we are focusing on verbs and their tenses. So when we use verbs, which are action words, like run, we can change the verb to show the time that the writer wants the character to do that. So for example, if I say run, that is happening right now. So I run to the finish line. Run. I'm doing that right now. But if I was writing or talking and I wanted to talk about something I already did, I might say something like, I ran to the finish line. Run and ran are both talking about the same action, right? Moving fast, but they're talking about one that's happening right now, and the other is talking about something that already happened. What already happened is called the past tense. What's happening right now is called the present tense. And that's the focus of today's lesson. Verbs that are present tense verbs and verbs that are past tense verbs. And past and present, the tense, those words might get confusing, but when you really think about what is being asked, is it happening now or did it happen in the past? I think you'll be able to figure it out. And a really good thing to do when talking about verb tenses is to really think about that action in your head and using it in a sentence. Okay, so that's a really helpful thing. So today for the lesson, that was a quick explanation of past and present tense verbs. We're going to watch a brain pop video about past and present tense verbs also. Then there's a Google form, and we'll do some pausing and talking during the brain pop video. And then there's a Google form, and I'll walk you through that, and we can go through kind of the expectations for each question. So 2 things you have to do today: watch this video and do the Google form. Okay? All right, let's get started with the brain pop video. So I'm going to share my screen. And we can get started.
Cool spaceship, Moby. You wrote a story about the future? In the future, everyone traveled in space shuttles. People and robots lived on Mars and had eaten a lot of candy. Aliens will help everyone with our homework.
So does that story make sense to you? You can kind of get the ideas that Moby is trying to tell us, but because the verb tenses are all messed up, it's really hard to tell whether he's talking about something that is going to happen, something that's happening right now, or something that's already happened.
Moby, your tenses are all mixed up. Well, tense is how verbs show time. You know, like past, present, and future tenses. How do you use present tense? The present tense shows what's happening now. Let's see, what is everyone doing right now? He washes the dog.
I'm going to back it up just a tad. That word washes. Washes is the verb, right? That's what he's doing. He washes the dog.
Washes the dog. She talks on the phone.
And the verb in that sentence is talks. And because it's happening right now, the word is talks.
For hours. I write in my notebook.
So again, the verb is write. That's what she's doing right now.
And you spray water all over Mia. For the pronouns he and she, You add es or s to the end of a verb to show present tense.
So wash is the verb, but because we use the word he, we change it to washes with an es. He washes the dog. She is the same thing. You add s or es. So the verb is talk. That's the action. She, but we don't say she talk on the phone. That doesn't make sense. So we add the s on the end. She talks on the phone. That means that's what she's doing right now.
But for the pronouns I and you don't add es or s.
So what that means is when you're talking about something you're doing, you just use the verb, write. I write. I run. I wouldn't say I runs to the store. I run. Same thing when you talk about you. You spray. You run. You write. You wouldn't say you writes Mia or you writes in my notebook. You would say you write, no s. He and she get es or s. I and you, they just get the verb.
For the pronouns they and we, you don't add es or s either. They get wet. We love Senor Maurice.
Senor Maurice is that.
These sentences are about the present, but sometimes I like to write about the past. How do you use the past tense? When you write about stuff that's already happened, you use the past tense. The brave knight walked to the dragon's cave. I added ed to the end of the verb to show past tense. He rode the dragon to a land far, far away.
Wait a minute. If you add ed to the end to show that you're talking about something that already happened, wouldn't it be rided?
Rode is the past tense of ride. We definitely don't say he rided the dragon to a land far, far away. I guess it's an irregular verb and doesn't exactly follow the rules.
So there are a lot of verbs that change differently than how we might say there are exceptions to the rule. Just like when we talk about our glued sounds, sometimes there's exceptions to the rule where a and n might be together, but they don't say and. That is an exception. Road is an exception to the rule. Just because you're talking about past tense, the rule is that you add ed to the verb. So the he ride the dragon, he rided would follow the rule, but we don't say rided. We say rode. So there's some verbs like that that are exceptions to the rule. And they're called irregular verbs.
Hide, take, give, go, and is are all pretty different than their past tenses. I guess there are a lot of irregular verbs, like eat and ate, grow and grew, run and ran, but I don't always write about the past either.
So we're going to stop right there because the next part of this video is going to be about the future tense, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So let's go to the next thing that I want to share with you, and this shows verbs in the present tense and then how some of them change to go to the past tense, and it talks about the future, but we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so on this it says verb tenses. Past is in this column, present tense is in this column, and future tense. So remember, past is these verbs show that something has already happened. Present tense verbs, these verbs show something is currently happening, so happening right now. And future, these verbs use a helping verb to show when it will help. Don't worry about the future verbs. We're going to talk about those tomorrow. Focus on the past and the present. So let's go through the present tense verbs because those are the ones that we really know. And then we'll talk about how we say that when we're talking about an action that already happened. So jump is a present tense verb. I jump on the trampoline. But if I was talking about something that I already did, I jumped so high on the trampoline. Jumped tells you that, as somebody who's listening to me, that this is something I already did. Okay? Let's go down to run. Run is the present tense verb. I run on the track. But if I was talking about something that I already did, I would use the past tense, which is ran. Notice on jumped, they added the ed like we learned in the video. Ran is an irregular verb, so you don't add ed on the end of run, you change it to ran. Slide, remember that E jumps over and makes the I say its name. Slide. So that's something that's happening right now. That's the present tense. But the past tense, if you're talking about something you already did, would be slid. Slid. I slid on the grass the other day. Slid. That's something I already did. The next word, the next present tense verb, sink. Okay, so that means that's what something is doing right now. Okay, the rock is going to sink. Sank means that it's already happened. The rock sank. Okay, that means, that tells whoever's listening to me that that's already something that happened. I didn't do it now. The rock will sink is something that's happening right now. All right, how about eat is the next present tense verb. Eat means that I'm doing that right now. But ate, and this is one that gets confusing, ate means that that's something that we already did. I ate at the best restaurant last night. Okay. Walk. Walk is something we're doing right now. We are taking a walk. If we're talking about something that we already did, if we're talking about one time we walked somewhere, we're going to add that ed on, and it's going to become walked. I walked to the store with Hannah yesterday. Walked. Next word, speak. That's something that's happening right now. But if we wanted to talk about something that already happened, we would change it to spoke. Notice we didn't add an ed on the end. This would be irregular. There are a lot of irregular verbs. Speak becomes spoke if you're talking about something that already happened. Laugh, something you do right now. Laughed, something you already did. Sleep, something you're doing right now. I am going to sleep. Slept is something you already did. I slept great last night. Okay? All right. So that is a review of verb tenses, and it's something that you guys are already kind of working through with just learning the language. And I'm sure your parents are reminding you and adults are reminding you a lot. If you say, like, I rided my bike, you wouldn't say I rided, so they would say you rode your bike. And that means that you need to change your tense from ride, you need to change it to the irregular rode. Okay? So as a recap, two things. There are tenses for verbs that show time. And when you're trying to tell somebody about something that's happening now, you use the present tense of the verb. I jump. If you want to tell somebody something that has already happened, you have to use the past tense of the verb. And that's how people know what time you're talking about. So you might say, I jumped And people will know, oh, this is something that already happened. Okay, so that's an important thing to start trying to work on, okay? Now, I am going to show you the Google form that I made, and we're going to go through it real quick, and then you guys can get started on it, all right? So let me go back to the Moby video. I believe it's there. And I'm going to go into the agenda for tomorrow. And I'm going to click on this Google form. Maybe it's going to work. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. Okay, so we're talking a lot and identifying which tense the verb is in. So the first one, select the past tense that matches this present tense verb. So you're going to think about the verb run, and you're going to decide, okay, run is the present tense. What's the past tense? And think about a sentence that already happened. I ran to the store. That's something I already did. Ran. Or jumped. Would jumped be the past tense? No. Would ate be the past tense? It doesn't mean the same thing. The tenses change, but the word means the same action. So run and ran, they mean the same action, right? Of moving your feet quickly across the ground. But jumped and run, do they mean the same thing? No, they don't. Ate and run, do they mean the same thing? No. Played and run, do they mean the same thing? No. So jumped, ate, and played cannot be the past tense of run because they don't mean the same thing. Okay, just because the tense changes, the time changes, doesn't mean that the action changes. All right, next one. Select the past tense that matches this present tense verb, play. So what is the past tense of play? What would you say if you were telling somebody that a story about a time All right, let's keep going. Select the past tense that matches this present tense verb, eat. Select the past tense that matches this present tense verb, jump.
This way.
Choose the correct verb to complete this sentence. Yesterday, the boy, Hannah, I'm going to start this question over. Choose the correct verb to complete this sentence. Yesterday, the boy, for a touchdown. So you're going to reread that sentence. Yesterday, the boy, for a touchdown, with all of these words. Can type for just a second. Yesterday, the boy ate for a touchdown. Does that make sense? I don't know. So you're going to go through and read all of those words to find out which one makes sense. All right, the next question. Is this word a past tense verb or a present tense verb? Is it talking about something that's happening right now or something that already happened? Singing is the word. Is that something that already happened? Is this word a past tense verb or a present tense verb? Sat. Would you use that in the past or would you use that in the present? Use it in a sentence if you are having a hard time figuring it out. So maybe you try and say, I sat on the chair. Is that something that you're doing right now or is that something that you already did? Singing, same thing up here. Singing. She is singing on stage. Is that something that's already happened or is that something that's happening now? is this same question, but with the word dancing. Again, think about a sentence. We are dancing to the song. So is that something that's happening now, or is that something that already happened? Is swam. So same question, past or present, swam. So think about a sentence. He swam all the way to the third dock yesterday. Is that something that's happening now? Would you say, or is that something that's already happened? And the last one is the same question, but with the word tripped. Use it in a sentence to see if you can figure it out. She tripped going down the stairs. I noticed the ED. Okay. She tripped going down the stairs the other day. Tripped. Okay. So I think that covers our writing for today. So I just went through the Google form with you. Go through the Google form again, and then your writing is done for today. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.